Tucker Carlson went viral on X this week after telling a story about how he believes he was attacked by a demon.
Carlson joined Megyn Kelly for her live event in White Plains, New York, and detailed what exactly he says happened. He described how his dogs and wife are seemingly light sleepers before detailing the experience. Let's listen.
I wake up at 2:30 in the morning, I check and I couldn't breathe at all. My throat was closed. It wasn't like I had apnea or was strong as I couldn't breathe. So I get up, I stand in the doorway of our bedroom, and I'm like, wow, I'm dying. I could feel myself starting to gray out. And then I started walking in the backyard, and then it slowly came back, like my throat kind of opened up a little bit. I was like really weirded out. I walk back in, and my wife wakes up. She goes, what is going on? I said, I don't know, I can't breathe. I feel better now. And all of a sudden I had this horrible pain underneath my arms.
Carlson added that the pain felt like he had been ripped by a knife. Here's more of the story.
So I go into the bathroom, I flip on the light, and I have claw marks on both sides, on right and left side on my ribs, and they're bleeding. And they're literally claw marks, 4 on either side. I put my fingers in them, don't fit my fingers, and I sleep on my side. So how could? And by the way, no one woke up.
Some of Carlson's critics understandably mocked him for the story. Writer Richard Hanania wrote on X, "This man should not be a leading figure in the conservative movement. He belongs in a padded cell." And activist Billboard Chris wrote, "Nobody thinks to clean and bandage his bleeding wounds. He just goes straight back to bed, bleeds on the sheets, reads his Bible and passes out." Wow, what an unbelievable story.
Carlson's conversation with Megyn Kelly then led into UFOs, which Carlson said he believes were angels and demons. Carlson seemingly suggested that nuclear weaponry was a product of a deal with demons, and he recounted how one of the devil's tricks is promising you material wealth and power in exchange for your soul. Let's watch.
There is a lot of informed speculation that the U.S. government has participated in this, and that defense technology, in particular nuclear technology, is the product of that. And I don't know if that's true. I will say one extremely interesting thing that no one seems to know is that it's not exactly clear where nuclear technology came from.
We didn't include it there, but the reason people were making fun of Carlson for this specifically is apparently he has, as many people do, the dogs sleep in the bed.
Yes.
4 of them, large.
How could he have got claw marks, Robbie? It was obviously a demon visiting him, not the 4 hunting dogs that are sitting there with their paws out.
You and I are secular individuals, so we have to try not to mock this view.
I think we're fine to mock this view.
Well, you can mock it. I'm not going to mock it. People are religious and or spiritual, and
yes.
Amber has a very different view of this. I was talking about it with her the other day.
She's pro-demon.
No, she's anti-demon.
But she believes they exist. Okay.
Yes, and that they're bad, and so do millions of people. I struggle to accept that the supernatural is actively intervening or interfering in our lives, and I think people there's like literally a part of our brain that does this, that wants to search for that. When you have something that you can't rationally explain, and you choose a supernatural explanation, other than there's dogs in the bed.
Yes, exactly. Look, it is true, of course, that people are entitled to any religious or spiritual belief they wish to hold. It is also true that all kinds of grifters and con men have historically used the patina of religiosity to dupe people in various ways. And so Tucker Carlson, it seems to me, I mean, he's hitting all the big conspiracy niche markets, right? There's like the demon visitation and the UFOs and the it's all stuff that the government is not telling you and something to do with nuclear weapons.
Just believe everything the authorities tell you, Niall? You sheeple? Wake up! Wake up, Niall!
It's just so... Like the demon visitation seems so risible to me that Tucker Carlson is just sleeping there with his hunting dogs. He feels allegedly feels all sorts of weirdnesses, wakes up with claw marks. We didn't play the part where he says he goes for a walk in his backyard at some stage and then returns back to his bedroom to be like stunned that he has claw marks. I just think it is such an obvious attempt to sort of cater to a particular kind of woo-woo Christian kind of market that I just
Well,
find it
I'm
resident.
not sure he's pandering. I think he does believe that that's what happened. I mean, I don't know.
I'm more skeptical. I mean, you
probably-
know him. I'm more skeptical of him from a distance.
No, I think I think he's changed his mind on a lot of. I think he's become more serious about his Christian faith and again the Christian faith, and not just the Christian faith, by the way, the Muslim faith too. Millions and billions of people globally, if they take their faith literally. Many people just their religion is a casual thing for them, but if they take it seriously, suggests all kinds of supernatural things happening. I don't mean to mock it. People are entitled to believe whatever they want, and you and I are not religious people. So
Well,
which makes us unusual because most people in this country are religious.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, actually. It makes us in the minority, but one of the things that I'm always struck by in political coverage, I'll get back to Carlson in a minute, but in political coverage there is often a lot of focus on what certain religiously believing groups, Christians or Jews or Muslims to a degree, though they're such a small proportion of the overall population, believe. And in fact, if you look at the polls, about roughly 25% of voters characterize themselves as they're part of our team,
Right.
of no religion or not
Right.
religiously observant or whatever, and they're almost never covered in political storylines. In relation to Carlson, I mean, it is people are of course entitled to believe what they want, but his view on, I mean, I find the UFO stuff fairly risible to begin with, but his view on these unexplained phenomenon is that they're actually some sort of spiritual beings that people are spotting in the sky. I mean, at a certain point, I just don't. It seems so untethered from any sort of reason or evidence that I really don't even know how you debate it.
I mean, if there was a alien consciousness, it would be an alien consciousness would almost take on qualities of the supernatural to some degree. It would be indistinguishable from that. I mean, we are on the verge of having artificial intelligence, perhaps, of incredible advancement and power. It could be 100 years from now that we have such a super advanced computer that it operates that it would seem supernatural to a less advanced species or civilization or consciousness. So if you do think there are aliens out there somewhere, not that they're regularly visiting us, little Martians in the desert knocking over cans, Area 51, I don't believe in any of that. But that somewhere in the universe or in some other universe that there's something as intelligent as us and eventually develops computer technology the same way we're doing it, and let's say they're just 10,000 years ahead of us. They could be millions of years ahead of us. It would actually be unlikely for them to be at the same level of civilization as we are. That would be extraordinarily mathematically unlikely. So let's say they're a little bit earlier than us. They would have some computer of advanced intelligence, exploring the universe. And if it interacts with us, it would seem like a divine or supernatural thing to us.
That's as plausible sounding an account of
there you
UFO
go. That's
stuff.
the plausible. It's our experience of the divine
Yeah.
is an experience with an advanced computer consciousness that is functionally indistinguishable from the divine.
Yeah.
That's my view.
Or people claim religious beliefs often when they're just con artists.
Now that's your belief.
That is.
We are.
Leftist influencer Hassan Piker is making waves online for taking a trip to China. More on that next.